Okay.
All right, so welcome to a parking lot. I told you I'm taking you to weird spaces. This place used to be something relevant to the history of Charleston. This used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion actually sat in the front of this space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and went all the way across, so kind of just behind us to your guys' right. And then even further back, that's where the servant and slave quarters were for the home. That's the layout of this land. So who the hell were these people? Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for secondary clues. I need to know which Charles is coming through in the event that one of you hears or sees the name Charles. Now, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics more than all of you, so we're going to move on. If I don't bring it up, they're going to do it for me in a spirit box in a very negative manner. So that's why I at least give them the recognition. So we're going to talk about Eliza. Much better story. Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. So I say that because if you're going to ask her how old she was, do not expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from, like 12 and 14. Think of today's standards, and the only reason I mention that is because her husband was over double her age when they got married. So kind of a creepy age gap then, a creepy age gap now. Now, also, communication device people, this is where I start withholding information. Do not expect questions from me like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. You're going to get the answers from your communication devices. Now, with that, Eliza marries Charles because her father is over in England. He thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time so he could see them. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so instead she stayed put, got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country yet. So she did marry him out of love. This is a true love story. This is not a no foul play, no affairs, nothing like that. Please do not poke the bear while we're at this location. This is a place of respect. So when you said respectful, I was kind of like, yep, that's kind of exactly the mentality we try to keep here. We piss her off, we will not get anything while we're here, and we'll have to just move on to the next. So, back to Eliza. Oh, she was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where we're standing right now. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye, that makes our blue jeans blue, which is exactly why I was excited about the word blue. Now, that's how we use it today. When she got her seeds, though, she didn't know what to do with it. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's not always hot here. When she figured that out, she learned how to make the dye, got a hold of Dad, and said, rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with this indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial days. Something absolutely unheard of. So, that's the boring business stuff. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here, right? So let's kind of go through what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each person with a communication device and kind of give you a set of focus questions to kind of rely on. Keep in mind, all of my communication devices are out, so if Jodi's asking a question, Janice might get the answer. We never know, which is why I always have at least 2 minimum. Even when I have just 2 people, there's still 2 communication devices going on so we can verify what's actually happening. So where's my 2 red ones? Janice, I know you have one. Who has a second? Jodi. So the 2 of you are going to go after Eliza's death. So 4 major questions per death. 4 major questions that we get the answers to on a regular basis: how old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So again, notice that they're all non-yes/no questions, so they're very specific. Yep. Damn, I'm really bad with names tonight. So I know we have Kelly. Haley and Haley, you guys have very similar spirit boxes as well. So you guys are going to have, because they only give us like 1 2-syllable answers, the mansion's not here anymore. You can ask what happened to it, and then when did that happen. Normally, if we get the what, we would normally get 2 or 3 numbers of the full date of when it actually occurred. They're very specific numbers, so it's very exciting when they start to come through. Ouija board device, where's that guy at? Emma, right? Okay, so I'm remembering some of your names. I don't know why I'm so bad with names tonight. So Emma, your device, you're just going to be going after Eliza's initials. And those initials are ELP. So with Ashley, right? Mm-hmm. So Ashley, you are now going to try to figure out what Eliza's maiden name was, now that you know that it starts with an L. The reason I'm giving you that question is because the first wife by Charles was also named Eliza and had a maiden name that started with the letter L. So now we need to know which Eliza are we dealing with. So you can ask that, and you can also use the marriage questions as well. So how old she was, that thing will give you numbers too. So you can also ask anything you want to about the marriage as far as number-wise, like the date, how many years were they married, so forth and so on. How old Charles was, how old Eliza was, so that way you kind of have a set of focus on. Again, ELP coming out of yours, Emma, in that order. I don't want an anagram of it. I want to make sure it's in that specific order. I think I covered everybody with a communication device, am I right? I think so. The only thing I'm going to ask out of all 11 of you is please do not poke questions about Eliza's children while we're here. I will tell you about them before we leave. So what's going to happen is we're going to kind of spread out, staying away from vehicles. I'm going to do one round robin, just to kind of see what's going on with things, and then regroup us to give you all of the answers to these questions. I'll be taking notes with every person that I meet up with, unless, of course, it already keeps the data for me like Ashley's device. I don't have to keep track of that. It does it for me. So that way I can kind of see what's going on. Any other major questions about your devices before we spread out a little bit? So out of the blue dot, you're going to be, because it's 71 degrees out here, so 56 below, 56 and below. Got it. Sorry, I had to do math again in my head. So English guy making me do numbers. All right, guys, let's spread out. Let's see what we got. So, Carrie, any numbers out of yours at all?
No, zero.
Zero.
That's my feel. 76. I forgot what my questions are.
How many years were you married?
5,076.
Oh my god, I'm at 4. Is that good?
Oh,
I
that's
think you.
something.
I don't know how this works.
Who was the pallbearer at your funeral?
Sign you all up. Be the pallbearer at my funeral. Where the fuck are you going?
I don't know. I'm just walking around. Leave me alone. What the fuck is that? What the?
Woo! Do it, Ashley. Do it.
I got a 49 feet signature over here. Where did Janice go?
What is that?
Yeah. Maybe I'm not supposed to talk. Maybe I should. Where's Jessica?
I found a heat signature of below 49, but then I started getting people over here and she left. So.
What?
Over here, there was a heat signature below 49.
That car was going off over there.
Oh my god,
It was
I know, that
responding
was
to me.
so crazy.
Yeah. I feel like he's doing it with keys. I don't buy it. I'm skeptical. I'm sorry.
Go back over there and see what happens. Oh. It's their car.
Oh my
Or they get, this family is getting it.
Okay, okay. Never mind. Never mind. He's fine.
Ooh, that's good. I don't know.
17. 18.
You getting any good footage?
No.
All right, so how's our word list coming? Anything else on there? And usually I'll just ask you to do the last 2 or 3. So you know, nothing super
No.
sensitive.
Yeah.
Really, no. Japanese man, that doesn't make any sense. Especially with Big John football player. He's definitely not a Japanese guy. So,
Okay.
but yeah, blue, so like I said, yours is only going to be about 20% accurate. It's just kind of a supplement to where it feels.
I asked you.
You guys, how old she was when she got married, how old Charles was when she got married. We'll just spell them around for you, where they give it to you.
Okay. I was over there for a little bit.
I got like 13 or 14. Then I got like I said, it was
17 and 18 are the numbers you've seen so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Over
You're
by
writing those
there.
down. Have we heard anything out of there yet?
The horses aren't gonna go crazy.
Not over here. Yeah, unmute that thing.
Out of here. Look, I just got a relax reminder.
Oh god.
Because you made me nervous.
Yeah, relax. Oh my god, what the fuck?
I'm trying to be serious right now, period.
I know. It's fine.
Oh god.
Good job.
Have any luck there?
I don't even know what I'm looking for. I'm just like panning. Weird on the parking lot. Like,
Yeah.
So what does yours do? Like, it just is like a, it's just shuts the camera. Every once in a while I see like weird orbs, but I think it's just reflection of light.
Do you hear any lyrics coming through?
There's a lot of people like pulling in, going out. How are you feeling? Did you get yours taken away?
Yeah, I gave my dress up. She's like, yeah, I don't need to have that. Great. I don't want it anymore.
I don't know what we're supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
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 Okay, I was gonna say, I was ready for your last name. Legal. What? Are you having any luck? Yeah, me and Eliza are just done.
You and Eliza are? Hi.
She told me not to tell you.
Okay.
I have to take another hour left, so. Should you know? No. We're leaving, right? No? Okay. Weird parking lot. Yeah. Where the fuck are we?
We're not too far from it.
Oh, that's weird.
Can you hold this for 1 second?
Hold on to it.
What is this Shania Twain?
All right, let's kind of regroup of.
What are you doing, kids?
Is that space up there still available? Yes, it is. Let's all kind of regroup back up here at the top.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Jodi, you get anything on your nothing on there?
No.
Any other initials that I need to know about? So, damn it, I'm losing names. I'll get you guys down, I promise.
Sarah.
Me?
Sarah.
Sarah.
Sarah, I got.
Haley.
Haley. Kelly, anything?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. All right. Are we missing somebody?
Jessa.
Oh, yeah, I told her to kind of regroup.
I'll go get her.
Yeah, all right. So, here's what I'm excited about. We got a couple of things going on. So, the EMF readings that we did get out of the millimeter went all the way up to a 95. So, let me kind of explain what that means around your house. Your TV set gives off between 40 to 60 milligauss if it's on and running. So, that kind of gives you an idea of how much electricity it's spitting out. Your microwave spits out about 150 to 170 when you're heating up your food. We got up to a 95 where there's no electricity. So she had a 68, a 35, she had a bunch of numbers that I wrote down. I'm actually pretty excited about that because when we get those triple digits, like over 100, that's why I asked you, did we get any other numbers that way? Is because I actually have epilepsy. That's too much electricity in the air for the guy with the neurological disorder. So we get the hell out of here. The highest I've ever seen that device go, by the way, has been here, 214 milligauss.
Wow.
So we got out of here really fast. We'll just say that, just for my own safety. That's just exactly why I said whoever's using that is the safety director to keep me in check. So we didn't get any other major numbers out of the other ones, so that's kind of a dud. Again, I'm still learning about that one, so we're going to see why it's not giving out the same kind of EMF. The other things that were actually heard, we did get the first wife's maiden name, so where is that?
Lamb.
Lamb. So we did get the first person's maiden name. It was Eliza Lamb Pinckney. So again, we may have had the first wife here today. We never know until I look at for secondary clues, basically. The color blue obviously kind of indicates the second wife. Again, we'll be looking at that as well. So let's kind of cover all of the answers so you guys know exactly how I'm going to piece this together. And then I'll kind of explain the next stop as we kind of move throughout the night and why we go to each individual place. Now, I will also tell you with bleed over, we could have gotten things from Big John over here, and we could have gotten Pinckney Mansion things while we were over at Big John's. So even though those ghosts are from two different centuries, I see a lot of bleed over. When we go into the next space, it is going to be an alley. We're not going to have the chance to explore it like this. We're going to go in there and stir some shit up, and then hopefully we get to bleed over into the next place, which is directly across the street, which is exactly why we go there. So let's kind of cover all those answers, and then we will kind of move on to the next location. We had some things going on, but not enough for me to say, let's keep going and kind of check things out. I also feel like the parking lot's very busy tonight. This is Eliza Lucas Pinckney. This is the second wife. So this wife was 22 when she married Charles, who was 45. So that kind of gives you the creepy age gap that I was telling you about. The reason why that's creepy to me is because I'm close to Chuck's age, and my oldest daughter is Eliza's age. So you can kind of see where that's creepy to me. So you already know that the first wife was Eliza Lamb Pinckney. So it's either a jerk move or really smart, depending on what kind of guy you are. So kind of take that for what it's worth. The mansion, those questions. This is fire damage from the Great Fire of 1861. If we get the terms like fire, burning, blaze that show up on your communication, we will often get the 2 or 3 numbers of the date, which is December 11th of 1861. 12, 11, 61. Very specific numbers. You can imagine my excitement if one of you hears the number 61. I'm like, hell yeah, you guys probably just missed the word fire somewhere. Now, every tour in town is going to tell you about a great fire that happened here in Charleston because we've had dozens of them. This is a map of Charleston that shows you the fire that went from one side of the peninsula all the way to the other. This was a giant fire that destroyed this mansion. So kind of keep that in mind. This was about $5 to $9 million worth of damage back then. I don't know what it equates to now, but it's a lot of money because inflation changes every damn day. We never know what the hell it means now. The children. That was hopefully a question that nobody poked the bear on, but we're going to cover them very quickly just so you know what I'm looking for when I go through your data. First child you already know about is Charles. We talked about him, signer of the Constitution. Next child, Thomas, fought in a Revolutionary War battle. He was captured by the British after being shot in the left leg. So after the British released him, they left him on a cane and with a limp for the rest of his life. You can see the clues that I'm looking for. They're very specific. Left leg, revolutionary, those kind of terms will pop up in the event that we hear Thomas's name. The next child is why we don't poke the bear, Baby George. You can kind of already see where this one's going, right? Baby George, in June of 1747, was born and died. So, that's all we know about him, truly, other than the fact that he does not have a headstone or a grave. His death certificate only says June of 1747 in both the birth and death columns. We don't know if he was days old or if he was weeks old. My guess is he was at least a few weeks old because you wouldn't name a child back then unless they were christened. It takes a few weeks after birth. So I'm guessing at least 2 weeks minimum. Now the headstone, no grave, there's a theory behind that. The church that they belong to may have allowed them to mummify this baby and keep them right in the home, in a tomb, waiting for the mother to pass away so he could be buried with her. It's kind of a creepy and endearing thought all at the same time. So some of you are grimacing pretty hard right now, and like, so that's part of the reason why we don't poke the bear at this location. We are still relatively close to the date, so probably starting in October, I'll pass out those questions again to see if it stops the activity like it did over the summer. Now, the last child, there's one more to go, Harriet. She marries Daniel Ory. That's important because Ory County is Myrtle Beach area. That's 2.5 hours north of here. That kind of shows you where she lived. Wouldn't have been a 2.5 hour car ride for Eliza. Would have been a lot of letter writing, quill, ink, paper, published. Those are the kinds of terms that we're going to get if we hear from Harriet. It's not very often. It's pretty seldom, to be honest with you, once or twice a year at best. So it kind of gives you that idea. Eliza's death questions, which were, 2 people set of questions on this one. She was 70 years old, not 800. So she heard the number 80 when she passed away in 1793. Now, she was going to Philadelphia, getting treatments, whatever they thought she had. It turned out to be breast cancer. We didn't know what the hell breast cancer was in 1793. Did it really?
Yeah.
Can't make this shit up, guys, I promise you. Now, 9 out of 10 credible sites will tell you that it was indeed breast cancer. She's died in Philly. She's buried in Philly. This should raise 2 questions in the back of your brain. First one is Baby George. If my theory is true, they would have transported that baby's tomb from here all the way to Philadelphia by horse and carriage. That's a long ride. So, you guys look old enough to remember the game Oregon Trail. Someone's going to get dysentery on that damn ride.
Oh, God.
At least 2 weeks, right? Now, the second question is if Eliza's up in Philadelphia, what the hell are we doing here? I don't take you to actual cemeteries. The reason why? None of you are going to hang out near your grave when you're gone. And it's the same with people that are already dead. So, again, it's minimal activity at best. Not that I don't get any, but it is very minimal. So, you're going to go to your mansion 400 miles away, which is exactly where you're standing. This is where the raised emotion was, because this is where she raised her family. So, kind of keep that in mind with the places that I take you to now. Who wants to take a guess who the president was that was the pallbearer at the funeral? Any history buffs? 1793. None? I love the shaking of heads, because when you guys can't answer, that's actually a good thing. Let me explain. It was George Washington. When we got over here, I told y'all I'm not going to give you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse. I do that on purpose because I subliminally put George Washington in the back of all of your brains, waiting to see who's going to give it to me when I did the round robin. You all pass or fail, so good job. Normally somebody with a spirit box, so if Jodi were to tell me George Washington and she didn't hear it on a spirit box, I'm going to take it and give it to somebody else that she came with because I don't want her repeating all the same shit I've already said. Right. So that's the reason why I do that test every single night. So, it was at his own request that he wanted to pay homage to Eliza based on her indigo. North Carolina country started. It's a big deal to him. So that's why he was there, paying tribute to her. So, I've already kind of explained the next spot to you. Has anybody heard or seen anything with your devices as I was going over all the answers?
No.
Alright. Let's go learn about killing people. Did we lose Jessa again?
She's off.
She's okay. It's fine.
She's just really
She'll hook up
Alright,
with us.
cameras.
enjoying yourself.
Stop your cameras along the way, so no recording until we get into the alley. When we're in the alley, be very discreet. Other tours may be in there, and they did not pay to get filmed. So kind of keep that in mind. The belly shot is usually the best shot. So Sarah, with yours? No. Sarah, this way, out. So if you don't want to shoot your own belly, shoot it out.
We're okay. Just trying to be
Let's go learn about
discreet. Thank you.
We got to gather our Jessa along the way.
Wait, so is this stop? I don't understand. Is it stop? 22? Yes.
No, I want your stuff.
One of the young
Thank
people.
I do this every night. I need him drive for tomorrow.
I'm at 4.3.
What do you got?
4.3.
4.3?
4.3.
Nice. Do we have anything else? Where's the other one? Jody, you got anything?
3.2, 3.3.
So with yours, Jody, I would expect at least a 7 because of the lampposts around us. That 4.3 that you're getting, I don't think I've ever had a reading come from that device over here. So that actually
I was
makes me
kind
think
of
that
flipping it around, but
Okay.
it's working.
I'll take it.
now.
Did anybody hear anything along the way? Were you guys listening into your spirit boxes at all?
I did nothing.
Just
Doing an investigation.
Jessica, don't wander too far.
No, I'm just doing, because she's got a weird reading, I'm just doing
Anybody else? Did we get anything on our word list?
Figure, illness, freshman edition, iron online, pale, planner, angels, interval, maybe.
Yeah, I got a whole lot of nothing out of that.
Yeah, right.
Nothing here.
Oh, now we have decision.
So,
You're clear.
You're all doing a ghost tour?
Yeah.
ghost hunting tour, yeah.
Okay, could we pay to join y'all? We have not been
I am
able to find
already like kind of overbooked right now.
one. Okay, got
So,
you.
sorry,
No
man.
problem. Thank you.
Objection. Objection.
Does that happen a lot?
Normally they just try to poach and they'll just kind of hang out, and then when I see they don't have blinky light devices on them, I'm like, yeah, you need to get the hell out of here. So, I do get a lot of poachers because again, you guys will hear the conversation that we had along the way here. I'm the weirdo in town. So if I'm already sold out because I don't go to the larger groups like everybody else, I do get a lot of people that just try to, I know he's going to meet here, you know, and I'm like, yeah, no, you're not going. Those of you with cameras, if you want to hit that record button, just again, be very, very discreet, especially with another cord down here. When they do come up this way, we'll kind of split the seeds and let them pass through, and then I'll stop talking kind of thing, so just kind of keep that in mind. Now, this is a place I'm actually going to be retiring this year, so this is the last year I'm going to be coming here. I do change this every year. I take out one and I add one. The Pinckney Mansion site that we just left, where we just looped around from, I was going to retire that one for this year because I was getting very disrespectful people on ghost hunting ends. People were like, all right, Eliza, let's go, and then they go piss in the corner of the lot, kind of very disrespectful. So I gave it a few weeks break and I kind of investigated the new space that we're going to be heading to at the end. And just kind of came back. I will tell you, every night before I meet with y'all, I cut through there because it's on the way from my office, and I let Eliza know how many people I'm bringing, and then I read off all of the names that I know. So I literally read off 11 names to her and cut through there to let her know how many people I was bringing. It's just kind of a respect factor. That's why when we got there, I said this is a respectful place, and we've got more respectful right away. So again, that's pretty common over there. So we'll kind of see what we get out of that location. So again, it can be topsy-turvy sometimes. You can be very temperamental. But this location, every ghost tour comes down here, it's a staple. So if you take another ghost tour in Charleston, just expect to come back. I'm going to give you a little bit more detail with this piece of history because you're ghost hunting, not doing a campfire marshmallow kind of ghost tour down there. So yeah, that was a joke too.
Mickey Mouse bullshit.
I'm beefing with them, don't worry about it. I got you, Nick. Don't even worry about it.
This used to be called Jewelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. When I say some, it's because dueling was illegal and they had to find hiding spots. This happened to be one of them. So let's kind of get into this. There was a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. So where's my Ouija board again? You're going to be looking for the letters R-I. Do a hard reset like I showed you earlier, and let's get a clean, fresh start. So he comes down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. For those of you that are still listening to your spirit boxes right now, if you actually get the song Brown Eyed Girl coming through, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time because it's part of the doctor's name. So kind of keep that in mind. Anyway, back to Dr. Ladd. He comes down here because he's going to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She's got an attorney helping her out with all of this cash that she just got. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of this doctor. He comes to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. On his way into town, the coachman that brought him in set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay here. But somebody was walking by. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I stop on Ralph. They don't. Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. That's why we're looking for the letters R-I on the Ouija board device. We were getting the letters R-I all the time on regular spirit boxes, so I wanted to verify that device. This is the location of exactly why I have it. I wanted to make sure we are getting those specific letters, and we have, about 6 times in the past 6 months. So kind of keep that in mind. Anyway, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. You're going to go to 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from friends of mine, and you'll be safe and good to go. The doctor took him up on the offer, and they became friends. Now, 59 Church Street, there's a lot that goes on there, but we'll talk more about that later in the event that it pops up to your spirit boxes. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. Well, I'm sorry, but the longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. This Amanda gets wind of this, and she's going to be moving down so they can get married. Dr. Ladd knows she's coming down. He becomes known as the whistling doctor. What I'm going to tell you is that every haunted city you're ever going to visit has a cliched whistling ghost. I'm just going to put it out there. So ours just happens to be a doctor, which is part of another reason why I'm actually retiring this location. Sorry, it looks like they might be coming up here soon. But anyway, Ralph and Dr. Ladd go see plays. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. The doctor gets better seats. So they talk about these plays on the way home. One night they go see Richard III. They're arguing over the new actress they just saw. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. It turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. It's really ugly. They go their separate ways. But Ralph has friends around town, like I said. He goes to his friends at the newspaper and places an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Doctor saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. Somebody's going to die. We should keep in mind that this argument started over an actress. Kind of bullshit, right? That somebody's going to die over an opinion on an actress. So they came down, they took their 10 paces away from each other, they turned, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he's shot. He did not want to kill his friend, he just wanted to have the courage to show up to the fight, which is often what happens at a duel. But Ralph has his one bullet. Anybody want to guess where he put it? Nothing? No, his kneecap. So, doctor doesn't die. He falls to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later, November 2nd, 1786. He also refused medical treatment during those 10 days. Let me further explain. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds were a lot different back then than they are now. So, he probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself because he was, in fact, a doctor. So, but he failed because he died. Now, every ghost tour that comes through here, including the one that's down there, will tell you, hear how quiet it is, listen for the whistles. Whole thing for us, we have 3 video cameras running, plus my voice recorder. All 3 video cameras can pick up audio. If there's going to be a whistle there, it'll be on one of those 4 devices. The other thing is, on spirit boxes, like Janice has, we've gotten whistling parts of songs and the word doctor immediately after it. Can't tell you how many times this happened because I've been coming here for 4 years. I've lost count. That's how many times it actually occurs. So, yeah, I will tell you, if you're going to try this on your own and go all the way through the alley, using your voice recorders from your phone to see if you can capture whistles after we're all done, because I can't take you all the way through this alley. I've actually been kicked out of here. That's the fun part of the story. I'm going to get to that. However, keep in mind, if you're going to go back and listen, every local knows the story. Anybody walks up and down that street, or that street, or the whistle down here. Excuse us.
So sorry.
You're good. So, again, I do this every single night. Ever since I got kicked out of here, when I'm done with your guys' data, my office is that way, where I let them pass through, I go to my garage and I throw a whistle. I do it every day.
Yeah, you should be scared.
I know, it is super warm down here. That's why I try to rush this one. So, but anyway.
I'm like full butt sweating right now.
So they're way down here. This alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There was a wall up there. The reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. So imagine cows and chickens down there. It was called Cow Alley, to be exact. So with that, that means the bricks on the other side are older than the ones we're standing on. The bricks down there are sun-dried bricks from slave children. Go to some of our museums, you'll actually see bricks where there's fingerprint swipes in some of those bricks. Now, I would tell you that there's a full handprint from a slave child at the end of this alley. I used to take my groups all the way through here when I first started doing this to show the history of how far we've come away from slavery. I don't care about the diversity of my groups, we all need to see it. So, I also treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not there. You can hunt there all day long. That's the last place you're going to find the kid with his handprint there, right? He's probably hanging out with his mom somewhere, wherever they actually used to live. November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10 people is huddled around one brick, waiting for something to happen. I know nothing's going to happen, right? The kid's not there. I'm also trying to be respectful to the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley, right? It's outside the kitchen window. So the new owner of that mansion came out. He was screaming at us because we were out of bounds. I didn't know that. I was still new with this whole tourism thing. So he came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because she was on the tour that night and her dad's getting yelled at. It was super awesome for her. She's laughing hysterically. We moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I worked for the biggest retailer in the world for a good part of 20 years. That was my career before I started doing this. So you guys can all laugh because I used to break up the fights with the towels. That was my job. So, but anyway, you can all guess where the hell I work now, right? So I called my partner the next day, which was the 28th. He also laughed at me because he said, dude, you're not allowed to go down that far. He was laughing actually harder than my daughter was. So he said, you only go down halfway, which is exactly where that one tour was standing, or you got to reroute your group. So I decided I'm going to reroute. What I told my group was I don't believe in the next story because I've never had anything happen with any of my gear there, and I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. We're discussing pirates next, in case you guys haven't caught on to that. Before we left, somebody with a spirit box, here's the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating, the famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So it's kind of like, oh shit, maybe we're going to get something. We get up and around the corner, and I told them what little bit I did know about piracy at the time. It wasn't much, because I only had like 6 hours to do some research, and again, I don't believe in the story anyway. I'm just trying to piece something together. Tickets were much wing it. But somebody else, here's the number 300 on a spirit box. After I give the history. I don't know what it means. I write it down. I research it the next day for them. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. Some of you are like, oh, wow, that's really cool stuff. Yeah, I was pissed. Let me tell you why. I have a master's degree in creative writing. Even writing fiction on my end, I still need facts and data. Especially when I'm doing this, facts and data. I need to be able to verify what the hell's going on. Pirate stories have come from pirate lore that were written 100 years after the fact of when they allegedly happened. That's my problem with pirates. You know how many damn books I had to read on pirates to make sure what we're about to talk about is actually legitimate? It's a lot. Just so you know, I'm still reading more books on pirates. I play video games with pirates now. I'm watching documentaries on pirates now, just to make sure I'm getting different versions of the story. To make sure everything is at least coming from a minimum of 2 to 4 resources of legitimacy. So hopefully you guys are going to get bleed over from this particular location over there as well. We may see other tours over there. We're just going to stay out of their way, but we will have a place to explore, and it won't be as warm. It'll be open air. So again, sorry for this condensate. You should be here in July. This is like sweltering. Another reason why I'm taking it out of my route for next year. Next year's story, just so you know, in case you do come back, I'm actually adding a murder mystery that has never been solved in Charleston before. So I'll be working with a few psychics to see if we can actually find where I'm going to be able to make that connection with that particular young lady that was murdered. But I'm still kind of doing the research for it. So after October, my busiest season, November is when I start looking into the next location for January. So just kind of keep that in mind. This one will not be part of it. So the gate behind me before we leave. There's a reason why this is here, and part of the reason why I stopped here. Remember that the alley didn't go all the way through this way? So if there was a duel down this way, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall. The reason being is because if there was a loser, they got to go all the way back down to the end of the alley and then double back to get to the cemetery. That's a lot of walking before they go celebrate with a pint for the winner. So this was a shortcut. The wrought iron gate probably wasn't here, but you can see that the archway is definitely part of the original wall. So let's go learn about some rated R pirates. You guys ready for this? Unless you guys want to tell me something you may have heard. I didn't hear any spirit boxes running. Were you guys listening?
I was.
You didn't get anything? Janice, did you get anything? I know you're
It's hard for me to concentrate on single ladies.
Single ladies. Do I have a team of single ladies tonight?
It's us.
You got a
My wife wants me to ask that question, right? So, any words on there before we need to leave?
Piper, Giant, Perception.
Beyonce's performing in
Black,
Kansas City.
So maybe that's a connection.
So
That's where
we
Kobe's going this
are
weekend.
Our
on
mayor was at the
Perception,
airport this morning when I was like,
Decision,
because he was going to meet her.
Figure,
Oh,
illness,
I guess he put it on his Facebook page. He's like,
Yeah.
at the
So
airport.
John and
because
Giant
Beyonce's
actually
in
make
town.
sense.
When she performed in Minnesota,
So let me
she gave
explain why I'm
$100,000
actually
to the
excited
city
about
to
this,
keep the
because it's
metro
kind of
running an
another
extra
mystery
2
around
hours.
Charleston. We talked about Big John
Mhm.
earlier. We don't know where he's
I was
buried.
wondering why he was
Exuberant.
He's
there.
a celebrity.
Like right
However,
when I was there.
his funeral
So I didn't
services
see him.
were
Right.
held downtown
I
Charleston,
figured she'd
which means
fly
that it is
into
a great
private
possibility,
airport.
because
We
he's a
have
native
one
to
downtown.
Charleston,
I
that
didn't
he's
think
literally
she'd, like,
buried
do
on the
that
other side of this wall.
internationally.
She has the name John and Giant. He played for the New York Giants. So again, if something else pops up relative to Big John, very specific, we are very close to his birthday as well. It was September 23rd. And I believe his death date was September 5th. So he was born and died in the month of September. So we are still in September. So it's a great possibility. We have clues to that. So your word list is actually being somewhat productive tonight. So if something else pops up on something we may be missing in real time, hopefully we can tie all of that together and say, I know where the hell Big John's buried. This side of the cemetery, just so you know, is always closed to the public because it's native Charlestonians, Constitution signers in there, that kind of thing. So the other side is always open because there's a vice president over there. When there's a president residency burial, they have to keep it open to the public for X amount of
Dumb.
hours per day. So
Yeah.
John Calhoun is buried on the other side of the street, which also belongs to St. Philip's.
Oh.
So, all right, I'm actually excited about that. So this is me excited. I'm not a TV show host. Sorry, I'm not screaming that the demons are within me like Zach Bagans does. So let's go learn about Rated R Pirates. Let's do this.
Oh, was that the joke? I'm sorry.
That was
Yeah, you missed it. Rated R Pirates.
I got so freaking sweaty back there.
Yeah, I know. It's fine. It was bad.
Ooh.
Like, really bad. I
Okay.
spit some air.
So is your 16-year-old driving?
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
Oh.
No, I mean, I don't know. I can't believe she has to take my car out today.
Does she have her
She
driver's
just
license?
got it, yeah.
Okay.
So she just probably has her papers. Then I asked my husband, like, did you take pictures? I mean, that's what I would have done.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I forgot. I'm like,
Oh my god.
oh my gosh.
God.
Of course, do when I'm leaving town.
Right?
So, whatever. Guys don't think about stuff like that. Just take a damn picture.
Kelly? Ooh, Emma. Good word.
Move over that way. So anybody that wants the full moon next to St. Philip's Church or tallest steeple, it's like the best picture you can get down here. So for anybody that wants to take photos, by all means do so. It's like you're already doing some over there.
Full moon next to the... It's too cold. You doing okay? I'm great. How are you? I'm fine.
But I mean, tourists, I'm okay with it.
What
Janice,
is-
you got anything coming through?
Take a selfie. Good job.
The fucking church?
That? Mine. No.
What's coming out of that spirit box? Anything?
There was a song that started playing, but I couldn't make anything out of it.
Oh god. Can you hold us so we can take a picture?
Is there a word that's coming? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, you're good. Rhetoric, surname, living, starting, trade, things, established.
Okay. So we have living and then death on your end.
Journey of life mean anything?
Always. We're talking pirates. It's not verifiable, but at least it's something. You guys are starting to get the gist of it. All right. Everybody got their pictures? Let's move you to back here then.
Can't take a picture. Oh, I got you.
Here.
Life on the word. Janice heard the word death.
I got journey of
You have
life.
life and now ghost.
Yeah.
You have almost like the full circle of shit. So you can definitely get some footage while we're in here with your cameras, and if you want to start them, by all means do so. Just know, Rachel, with yours, the wall behind me is not your friend. There's going to be a lot of people in there. If that makes sense because of all the leaves. So kind of.
Sorry, we gotta do a little
letters? Did we get an RI while we were over there?
No. That's 750.
7. I'll write that one down just because it might be like July 1750 or something along those lines. Again, I always think outside the box. So.
You're so great.
Alright, gather around everybody, it's story time. Let's do this and then we'll be able to spread out. So, every tour comes through here, that's why we're in the back, they just kind of cut through. So we're here because of that little tiny building over there. Those are not crosses on that building up there, by the way. Those are earthquake bolts. If you don't know what earthquake bolts are, it looks just like that on the other side. If we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, like I've already mentioned earlier,
Oh, Kelly, what do you have going on?
tighten those bolts and it will tighten up the building so it doesn't incur any further damage.
Yeah.
It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. Can we put that on mute? The only
I think there's something happening.
I have a trained ear for that, so anytime one's running, I lose track of where I'm at with the history.
Sorry.
So my
I thought I
apologies.
was catching something.
I think you were, Kelly.
There was something.
Kelly, I think you were.
I'm starting to, but
Okay.
it's all good.
We do get disembodied voices here through that spirit box, meaning it won't be radio chatter. So one of the first nights we ever used that in this location, I'm packing it up because this used to be the last stop, pirate, plain as day.
Really?
And it wasn't like part of a sentence, like Pittsburgh Pirates won the game kind of shit. It was just pirate, plain as day. We all heard it. And it was on one of the audios of the camera. So again, I applaud you for going after it, but I get distracted. So that's just for my sake. All right, back
Good job,
to
Kelly,
Powder Magazine.
I think.
The reason why we're here is because of those earthquake bolts. But like I said, you guys have seen the earthquake bolts all over town, the Charleston charm bullshit all over town. Even the apartment building behind it has those squares on every floor. Those are also earthquake bolts. The reason I bring those up is because that's the first set that Charleston ever put in, because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. Part of the reason why we're here. That building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. So it was finished in 1713. Anne Bonny came here in 1708. So she would recognize this. For those of you that watch the TV shows, they use that new device called a Boo Buddy. It's basically a teddy bear with a K2 meter in it. So it's got the blinky lights in there to see if the ghost comes nearby. They use that to attract the child ghost. It's the same principle. Anne Bonny wouldn't recognize most of the other buildings around town. There's a handful that she actually would, hence why we're here. Now, there's a lot of twists to this story, so try to follow me on this one, so that way we can kind of get through it and we can start explaining it, going and exploring the location. So, 1708, a young lady comes here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far? Good. The three of them are running away from their father's angry wife. How pissed off was that wife that she kicked them out of the country when there's no planes yet? They left there by boat to land over here. They landed in Georgetown. That's just north of here, between us and Myrtle Beach. So, Dad bought a plantation up there, and then Mom died pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne to Charlestown to sell things from that plantation to keep things afloat. So, hence the familiar building. That's why we're here. Back home in Ireland, they say Anne was a badass even back then. At the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. Can't tell you how many times I've had servant, knife, and belly come up on 3 different communication devices, and nobody knows what the hell's going on with the other ones. So take it for what it's worth. Fast forward, the building's done in 1713, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love. She's going to earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world at this point. First guy she falls in love with, and I said first because there's a good handful. We're going to go through all of them because that's what makes the story so damn interesting. First guy is James Bonny. You already know where this one's going. Dad didn't approve, filthy pirates, they ran away to Jamaica, they got married. Anne Cormack is now Anne Bonny. However, she realizes that her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wanted. So a few years go by and she falls in love again. Guy number 2. Guy number 2 is John Rackham. Everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering who this guy is. Nice. Jack has his own crew, he has his own ship. Anne wants to be part of the crew. Does anybody know why you cannot put a female on a pirate crew? It is bad luck. Thank you for keeping it family friendly. All these other dirty minds, I've seen the wheels spinning. Come on.
Yeah, it's not my first.
I was curious to see who was going to throw out the raunchy answer first. So thank you, Janice, for keeping it family friendly. Appreciate you. Anyway, I don't give that question out if there's kids in the tour, just so you guys know, because I get all of those bad wheels spinning back at me. Anyway, he makes a deal with her. If you look like the guys, you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. But we're all adults here. Put 2 and 2 together. You've already had that dirty thought. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl and get rid of Jack. They'll vote him off because there's a democracy there. Jack drops her off in Cuba before she starts the show and drops her off with friends and says, has the baby here, come back later, we'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby, but returns without a child. We have no idea what happens to the baby. However, she does come back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. Now, everybody's going to know that he let a girl on the crew. So to piss him off even more, he's going to go flirting with the pirate crew that he's got below deck. He just captured her.
Nice.
So, guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack has captured. And now we have 2 females, dressed like pirates on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure because of the time frame. However, the British find out where they are. They send a whole fleet of Navy ships after them to take down one measly little pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet guns, right? So they don't know how to use cannon jets. They're not pirates for very long. This is not going to work out. 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns, not going to take on a whole fleet of ships. They get arrested by the British. As they're being arrested, she looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and she says, I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up on communication devices a lot. The judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates. They're dead and gone. So Anne and Mary go in front, reveal their gender. The judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. He's still going to hang them. They're still pirates. We plead our bellies was the last thing they shouted because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina, bails Anne out, brings her home, and she remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary. We don't really know. So she has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we don't know jack shit about her after her pirate career. So it's very vague and it's very up for speculation. They say she changed her name, went to Virginia, some say she stayed here. I usually just leave it very open for that matter. Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination on that one. Most books will tell you that it was fever. I say bullshit. It was probably scurvy. Let's make it romantic. So we're talking pirates. So here's what I left out. I'm not going to assign questions here. You can ask anything you want to. This is not the prominent English woman that we are just dealing with Pinckney Mansion. Keep in mind you will get things from Dr. Ladd over here as well from the Whistling Doctor story. Here's what I left out. The names of Anne's parents, the father and the mistress. You can ask about those names. I left out the name of Calico Jack's ship on purpose. I also left out the city where Anne grew up in Ireland and the color of her hair. Very simple question. You can all speculate that it was red. So it was indeed red. So we did get the color yellow that showed up because I didn't reveal the answer yesterday. And somebody actually heard the color yellow. Like they asked what color her hair was, they heard yellow. Very weird. So take it for what it's worth. We are going to spread out in this location. This is not our last stop. We have one more after this, just so you know. And the last stop is very different than what we've been doing. 2 of you will be blindfolded at the next location. So, again, it's a very odd experience. Janice is like, oh, please, oh, God, don't pick me. I see that weird look on your face, like, oh, shit, what is happening right now? Kind of keep that in mind among the group of 9. So somebody needs to be kind of like a tribute. So out of your group of 9, look at Jess is already on.
Jess is like, yes, tribute.
So let's spread out. Let's learn about pirates and see if we can get some answers out of this. So Rachel, try to help mom out. She's doing pretty well. She's getting better, but give her a hand and see if you can listen in with her and see if you can answer.
Can I get that cheeseburger? I'm so tired. I can't talk about it. Cheeseburger. I want a cheeseburger and
I will get them from Matt me there.
can I what?
Matt me there while you guys are doing this fucking shit.
I'll go.
Matt me to a
Matt,
cheeseburger.
no, I don't
Well,
know where
we'll get some.
No, I don't know where the cheeseburger place is. We're almost done. We gotta stay together. Kiwi, you can just sit down, take a little load off.
Right here.
Yeah.
Tell you what.
Nope, I won't. What? I just told her to sit down over there. Yeah.
Biggest orb I've ever caught in 11 years of doing this. Your phone's flashlight is on, just so you know.
Oh, jeez. Yep.
Has been at this location, just so you know.
Okay.
I had one larger than my head show up near that wall.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was there until I reviewed the footage later.
Very cool.
So, very cool stuff. I know you and I didn't chat a whole lot tonight because I've been bouncing around.
Yeah,
but
all
the
good.
smaller cameras, I kind of, like I said, I let you guys run. I watch your work later on.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it rolls.
Awesome.
So, are you recording right now? Yep. You
Yep.
got it. Perfect.
I'm on it. I can't.
Did you figure it out?
Jesus, what is happening with my phone?
Apple phones. I thought your phone was ringing at first.
Yeah, it's. There we go.
Did you really? Got anything coming out of there?
Anybody named Dick?
Are you sure it was Dick and not Nick?
No, I just heard.
The name Nick is in reference of one of three, me
Right.
being one of them.
It could have been. It went by quickly.
Okay, I'll write down Dick.
Okay.
I know it's funny. Because they have the color yellow Dick. Like, it's even funnier. So, we can go with that. Like, I think we got, like, Kelly, like, almost obsessed with it.
She is
I love it.
into
That's what I
it.
live for. When you guys are, like, so involved, like, you just
She's
avoid me
into
so you
it.
can continue working. I'm like, shit. You got anything?
I think I heard Yamaha.
Didn't we get the word Japanese earlier somewhere?
That's all I haven't
Yamaha.
gotten anything
else I've been
Gotten lots of gospel songs.
You're near the church.
Okay.
That's common. We get like Bible, religious, pew, you know, those kind of things. All those kind of religious terms about the church.
That's what I figured, but
Sorry. I need to blow it off because it is something, but
Right.
I'm just so used to seeing it here. And it starts as soon as we start approaching Philadelphia Alley. I know we kind of came down and around, but as soon as we kind of cross through the market, it normally starts like right away. That's our tallest street.
right.
So again, it's a pretty
Common.
it's a big thing here in Charleston. If you get lost in Charleston, just look for the damn steeple. You'll know exactly where you're at. You can find your own way. It's kind of like our North Star. So, anything coming out of yours?
Getting a lot of Harry Styles as it was.
You know what's funny is that's usually the reference that I tell teenagers. Like, I don't give a shit that you heard Harry Styles. I want to know that he sang as it was. That's the exact reference that I give. So, and normally I go to a further explanation of like, hey, your spirit boxes are slowed down. You might hear Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. If you ask what color's a big red barn, I don't need Rudolph the Nosed Reindeer. I just need the red. So if you hear a phrase like she heard 800, I'm still looking at the singular 8.
Right.
So that might actually mean something to that specific location.
Right.
But yeah, that as it was reference, I do it all the time to the teenagers. I didn't even know who the hell Harry Styles was until they all started telling me they were hearing Harry Styles. I'm like, who's Harry Styles? I don't listen to this shit.
I don't know who that is
So,
either.
yeah, wasn't he with some boy band?
Yeah.
I don't
Boy
know.
band.
Yeah.
One Direction.
One Direction.
And now he dresses flamboyantly.
I don't listen to any of that shit. I had to ask my daughter what the hell was going on with this guy.
Yeah.
So she's
He's a little different.
Yeah. I watched his video. I'm like, yeah, this guy's weird. I'm not watching this shit. Alright, so let me see what's going on over there in the corner, see if they have anything going on. Since we only have Yamaha, they only have one answer of what color was your hair, and they got the answer of yellow, just like they did last night. I'm like, I don't know. They're like, we both heard yellow. I'm like, well, what the hell? Her hair was not yellow. The other was Mary Reed's. Her hair was black. What do you got?
I asked Anne what her favorite thing about being a pirate was. It's not. At some point, it said husband in prison.
And then we did hear the word dick that came out of the other one. So,
What did you hear?
Husband in prison.
I did have giant also. I forgot. That's one on.
where at? Here?
Yeah, over there.
Because again, he would be buried across the street from
Yeah.
John. It's interesting.
PJ.
How's our word list? That's the next
We got
question.
Senior, Anthony, Pete, Organizational, Breed, Lillian, Farr, Carson, Conference, Harriet, Cousin, Faber, Tail, Corin.
Cousin's the only thing that's possible here. I was hoping for something dirty because we're getting all kinds of dirty shit out of the rest of the share boxes. So I wanted to solidify like what the hell was happening. So she heard dick, and then they asked what did Ann love about being a pirate, and they heard husband in prison. So I was kind of like, okay, it's getting a little raunchy around here.
Yeah.
We got anything going on with your
Pirates
work?
were a little raunchy though, weren't they?
You think? Is that why we all watch and listen to them? Because, I mean, again, that's how I got sucked into it. Obviously, then having to come here because I couldn't finish what my old route used to be. Anything else going on with our devices? Any readings coming out of the EMF meters at all? Nothing at all. We don't normally get a whole lot out of here. So a 2.5 is exciting at this location, just so you know. So again, if we get anything, it's normally near the electrical poles, which we can debunk right away.
Right, and that's where I got the number.
So that kind of... Kelly, you got nothing else other than Yamaha?
Yeah, no,
Yeah. And I know we had the word Japanese earlier, which I was kind of like, no, we got nothing going on there. All right, so let's go regroup by the wall. Continue listening for the next minute or so. I'll cover the quick answers that are here, and then I'll fully explain what the hell we're going to be doing next. So is Jessica going to be our tribute? Perfect. So, Jodi, that means you're going to have to give up your spirit box because that's going to have to go to her once we get to the next location.
That's fine.
So, because that's what she's going to be using. So, very interesting. So, again, you guys are probably missing things in real time, which is perfectly fine. That's why I actually spot check everything. So I am a little disappointed with our Envoy device. Me and Emma just had a conversation about, like, I do change up the devices too. I've been holding on to that one for this entire year just because it is so expensive to see if it's going to be more productive. It might not be here next year. I might replace it with something else. So it might just be an additive in case I have, an overabundance like I did last night. So it'll probably just stay in the back. All right, let's go over to the wall so some of you can actually have a seat.
It's a party. Let me tell you that right now. I'll be in a parking lot with the St. Louis church teacher. You getting anything in here?
No.
Is this recording?
Yeah.
Nick's gonna hear me talking shit. Nick, I totally believe in ghosts, and you're doing a great job. I just want you to know that.
We love you, Nick.
Love you, Nick. Heart. What if the ghost tells me lazy? Where would it say that, Jessica? I'm there. Let's go.
So we also, somebody heard the word giant, right, Jodi?
Yeah.
So we heard the word giant as well as have it on the word list over here. So again, Big John will be buried across the street. The word cousin was on the word list as well. I will tell you that the two Charles Pinckneys that were signers of the Constitution I talked about earlier, the cousin of the, well, basically the nephew of Eliza, which is the cousin of her son, is also buried across the street. So again, it's almost a curse to know too much history about this location because I have to stop and think, like, why is that relevant all the time? Because again, there's like 15 stories just on this corner alone. I also have to know who's buried where, so that kind of helps out. We just get little trickles of things. But remember the heated warning I gave everybody at the top of the night where I said somebody might be able to get sick during this? This is part of the reason why it's located. So I've had ladies that couldn't even walk in here, heart palpitations, those kind of things. But 2 years ago, almost to the day, and it was the month of September, I took my group to the back, just like I normally do, and I'm just trying to avoid the other tourists. The kid next to me, he's about to faint. And I say kid because he's about 21, 22 years old. He's going white as a ghost, and I have to pick him up by his armpit so he doesn't hit his head on the ground. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him, brought him over here, got him some water, he felt better. I then told him the history I've already told you. This used to be the last stop, so I spread everybody out. I told 3 stories here, go have fun, laugh for rock. These 2 guys pulled me aside. Nick, we have to tell you, we are 2 transgender males. I have 2 females dressed like males, just like Anna Mary in the story on the tour. It made complete sense to most of us as to why it actually happened in real time, but it is still unexplainable. If psychics and mediums come to this route and this tour with me, most of them don't make it past the Pinckney Mansion site based on the high EMFs that we've already seen there. So I make sure that they do not get a regular spirit box or something in their ear because they already get their own messaging, which is part of the reason why I had you guys show up early. I kind of get a feel for who's actually going to be in the group that night. Most psychics and mediums will come up to me right away and kind of give me that self-proclamation if they have one, so that way I can kind of see what's going on with them first. So that's why I give that heated warning at the top of the night. So first time somebody passed out on me, I was in CPR class the next day. You better bet your ass I was. I got signed up immediately. Let's cover the answers for Anne Bonny. Very quick. And then we'll talk about where the hell we're going next and why and what the hell we're going to be doing there. Because we're going to be working together as a group. This is one of the few pictures of Anne Bonny you can find where she actually has a shirt she used to bare her breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. Remember, she's wearing male pirate garb. So again, she has to show off that she's a female and that she's got killed by a woman. Aha. So, her parents' names, William Cormac, Mary Brennan. She's not a subliminal trick with the Mary Read friend from the ship. We just happen to have 2 different Marys inside the story. Obviously, her hair color is red, not yellow. So again, we did get the exact same answer that we did last night, which is super odd, unless she's just effing with us kind of mentality, like she's pissing around, like wants to be a jokester, giving us filthy words that you guys are hearing. But at the same time, the city where she grew up in was Cork, Ireland. So again, nobody heard the word Cork, nor did it show up on our word list. I also showed you what Calico Jack looked like, because everybody wants to see what they based Johnny Depp off of, which is super hysterical. Calico Jack was named that because of the jackets that he wore. They came from British captains that he killed. His father was a tailor, which means textiles were very important to him. Calico Jack basically means fancy jacket. That's where the name comes from. Most folks will tell you that that's also where the term fancy pants comes from. Jack and pants just don't make sense to me. The other half of those folks will tell you that wasn't indeed because of his jackets. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. I do not expect the word Kingston to come out of any spirit box besides Kelly. So, yeah. Oh, sorry. How'd you go? So the reason why is because hers picks up more disembodied voices than all of the others. So again, just like I told you with the pirate piece, it was definitely not, radio chat, so to speak. It was definitely something on the group using their own voice, which is super cool when we do find those things. So that covers all of the answers. Here's what's going to happen at the next location. So we're going to go up to Washington Park. It's about 2.5 blocks from here. So Jessa and Rachel was going on to make this VR thing. So Rachel's going to have wearing a VR headset, and she's going to have my phone in there, and it's going to create artificial intelligence images based on the EMF that's going to be surrounding her. So these images have never been created before, so she's basically just going to be quickly describing what she actually sees. You guys will all see these pictures before we part ways, and they'll also be in all of your data when I send it to you tomorrow morning. Now, Jessa is going to be blindfolded and have noise-canceling headphones on, and she's not going to know the history of the location. So, when we come back to talk to her, she is going to tell me everything that she's hearing out of that spirit box that Jodi's going to give to her. And it's going to be like we're having a conversation. That is the hope, that she's going to be channeling the ghost that we're trying to hunt down. Now, Rachel, you're also not going to know the history of this location either. You'll be able to hear the questions that I'm asking, but you're not going to know why they're relevant. So just kind of keep that in mind. You two are going to be sitting on a bench while I teach everybody else a quick 5-minute history on the ghost, and then we're going to come back and talk to Jessa as if she were the ghost. Does that make sense to everybody? So this can work one of two ways. It can go really well, where we have a full conversation, or it can go really bad, where they're just silly answers and we all have a good chuckle. So this is about a 30% accuracy piece that comes out of the blindfold test, and it's about a 40% that the images that Rachel's are going to see are going to be accurate to the location. A lot of times what we find is when we do have an image of this is part of the conversation, one image will pop up that's also part of the conversation that will make complete sense. Does that kind of make things a little bit more clear? Have you guys seen AI work at, like, create an image before? Yeah. Okay, so it seems like you guys were all kind of hip as soon as I said AI. So some groups I have to demonstrate with an action. So I want you to picture, like with Rachel's device, it's going to be like the ghost is whispering into my phone what to show her. Kind of keep that mentality up. So it's about 40% accurate. So again, I've been running a lot of tests with this because I've been doing this method with the VR for probably about 3 months now. So a lot of fun. They'll only be under for 10 minutes. It's the only part of our night that I actually time. So I don't time this. We normally just go until the activity stops, or I feel like it's too busy in that location where the ghost doesn't want to talk anymore. That's kind of how I roll. So sometimes this goes for 3 hours, sometimes it goes for 2. I never know. I just go. I'm already out here. My wife is at home sleeping. So, the hell do I care? I gotta go to the office when we're done anyway, so I'm not gonna get home till 4 in the morning. So, I can live an hour away. So, it doesn't matter to me. That's kind of the.
How do you know that other people don't come through? Just other ghosts, other spirits?
Oh, we've had that happen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How do you know?
So, if what Jess is going to be telling me doesn't make sense to the ghost that we're hunting down, we're going to a place where there's a lot of, like, memorials and monuments in the location. And again, with knowing the history, kind of like how I was able to start off, like the cousin's over there, Big John might be over there. I can't verify it, but it's a good possibility based on the clues we're getting. You kind of have to know your area. Also, the ghost that we're hunting down is pretty timid. It's a know your ghost type mentality. Had a very tiptoe around the English prominent woman, kick the pirate in the shins, you know, kind of thing. Like every ghost is different. So if somebody else is coming through, I'll flat out ask, if you're not the ghost we're looking for, tell us your first name. And it's happened. And we've gotten a full conversation that way too.
That incident that her and I had over there.
Are you okay?
Yeah, just a little bit.
So what's exactly the detail? The fact that Lillian showed up on you?
My name's Jillian.
Right, I know.
And I've been told that before to breathe. So
The fact that it said Lillian, breathe.
So I think I have a feeling.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, something here.
Okay. We're gonna find out. You can also clue me in. I'll be honest, I don't want to know anything further until we get through this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys ready to blindfold some people?
Totally.
Super
Yeah.
selling group all of a sudden.
yeah.
We're like, don't be that girl.
Yeah.
I really don't know what you want from us. You're doing a lot of
Picture of that.
Oh, I thought it was a mile. No. What you got going on back there? Nothing. Jack shit. It was really weird. Nuts. Breathe, because I hold my breath a lot. So I've been told that a lot before.
Well, yeah, it's not like it was just something random. It's like, you know, something like people often remind
as we're
you.
talking about ice cream or trying
Yeah.
to figure out something.
It's like so totally unrelated.
Just say what? So, what does that say? Rapid what?
Wash, journalism,
Journalism.
broadcast, pounds, exercise.
I do need to exercise.
That's sounding a little personal.
Right. Lose some pounds. Exercise.
I don't need the thing to tell me that.
Everybody said photojournalism. I'd be like, oh my god.
Okay.
Oh, I was just gonna say, a big horse butt lift.
Lots of horses. Oh, that's a beautiful building.
Right? I know, I just have to take a picture of it.
Oh my goodness.
I can't wait to see it all in the daylight tomorrow.
Okay, this is longer than 2.5 laps.
I know.
equipment, so I can take your camera, Rachel, and I will take the thermal as well. The only one we're going to be using is going to be the one that Sarah has. So I'm getting names correctly. Look at me go. I've got most of you down. It took me most of the night to do it. So I'm going to hand you guys the equipment. The only thing I'm going to ask is, because I'm going to be taking everybody over near that monument, right over here. You guys do not put on the equipment until we come back. Okay. The reason why is because if I'm blindfolding women in the middle of a dark park without the cars walking by, it never looks good. So I'm going to hand you a blindfold. If you can figure it out, awesome. If not, I'll help you when I get back.
Bless you.
Blindfold is disposable, which means I do not want it back. Keep your own eye boogers. Jodi, did you hand her the spear box?
I did.
Noise canceling headphones. So somebody will be putting these on you after you're blindfolded. So I'm just going to keep them right next to you. So again, you won't be able to see how to actually work them. My phone is not in here yet, Rachel, so no worries. So just kind of get used to how that feels. So when we come back, I'm going to have to give you a few tips and tricks of what to expect out of this, because again, this works a little bit differently than just listening. So this is your blindfold. So if you want to open it up and try to figure it out, it's up to you. If not, I will help you when I get back. So we're going to go learn a very short, quick 5-minute history, and then we're going to come back, and hopefully we are going to make contact with our ghosts that we're hunting down. In the event that the group to my right, your left, actually moves, we're going to go over to that bench because it's closer to the monument, and that way we don't have that interference like Jillian suggested earlier. Because again, if you look around, there's a lot of monuments in here. So we get our best reaction, because I've tried most of these benches to see where we get the reaction. When we're over there, we actually get stuff from the monument on that side. So again, that's kind of how it plays about. I know it sounds odd, but test this all the time. No, it does not go all the way around your head. It actually opens like a Batman mask. You're on the right track. You're probably the closest I've ever seen anybody actually get to opening one of those.
Thank you so much. I'm going to keep working on it.
All right, you do that. If you screw it up, I have more. No worries. Let's go learn some history, folks. Let's go this way.
No, let me figure.
I won't tell you to figure it out.
Oh, Jesus. God.
I would have definitely said like late teens, early 20s. So. All right. So I've actually had to pull people out of that whole scenario before. So like early, because they use some hyperventilating. It can be a thing. So I'll be keeping an eye on them. I don't do anything else besides focus on them. It's just so you guys know, for in case you guys, doesn't seem like you guys are worried about, Jessa, but
She's fine.
but I'll definitely be watching both of them when we get over there. So the first time I came here, again, just doing the research in November of last year, I only had 2 people. One person using one of the red spirit boxes, like Janice, and then I told her, just tell me whatever you hear, because I don't know what we're going to find. I just know all the tours come here for whatever reason. The young lady heard the year 1828 and the name Henry. I was using the word list. I had the name Tim on mine. This bust behind me is Henry Timrod, born in 1828. Well, hot damn, there's my ghost. So, learned a little bit about him. We're only going to touch a little bit on him, so that way we can get the rest of the conversation, hopefully, out of the channeling that we're about to go through. What you need to know is he was a writer, and he was sick for most of his life. Being born in 1828, he obviously wanted to go fight for the Civil War, because he's old enough. He goes out there to go fight for the Confederates. He goes out there, but his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. They sent him home. They said, go be the voice of the war. They knew he was a writer. They wanted him to write about what was going on in the battlefield, so that way he can alert people how the war was going. He became known as the laureate of the Confederacy. Seriously, dude? They're killing me. I'm trying not to shout at you guys. So anyway, being a laureate is a pretty big deal in the writing world, in case you're unfamiliar with that title. But anyway, a few years go by and he has a son, him and his wife Katie. But the son's name is Willie. He's born on Christmas Eve and he dies 9 months later. Very tragic death for, obviously, him and his wife. A couple more years go by and he's not publishing as much as what he was supposed to through the newspaper he works for, and his other college friend actually realizes this and says, you know what, I see you're not writing, go use my cottage in Columbia, that's in the middle of the state, and you can get back on track, leave your wife Katie behind to mourn with her parents that are here in Charleston. So he goes out there and he writes his last words. His last words, beholder of brief mortality, meaning dear person with a short life. And then he coughed and it landed on the page in a blood stain, and he died pen in hand. Now, kind of a sad story, right? But that blood stain is why we're here. The blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk. That was his legendary mark that he left behind. So we do call this the Blood Book, and they show it one day a year at the Charleston Library Society. And it's underneath glass. They only show it on Halloween. However, the internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you guys what that page looks like, and then we're going to go talk to Jessa as if she were Henry Timrod. So we'll ask all of you that we're going to stay huddled in pretty tight. I don't like the other tours to see that I'm blindfolding people and maybe steal my ideas, if you guys get the point of that. But we're going to keep that filming, Sarah, on them only, so that way they can post it to their socials later if they want to. Because again, this is a very unique thing to do, and again, you have an expert here that's done this many, many times and knows what to expect or what not to expect. So hopefully, Jillian, I'm hoping the things that are going to come through are going to stick to what we're working on and not coming through for something that you may know differently. Okay, just so you have that thought and process. Keep an eye on our EMF readers as well. We have seen triple digits in this location during this method, so we'll kind of see how that goes. We've gone all the way up to 167 with Jodi's device, so kind of keep that.
Fix it again, I'm sorry.
It's okay. We're going to get out of this group sweat. Yeah, you keep putting it on hold, so it doesn't want to move at all.
It went dark, and so I thought
There you go.
pushed the button. Thank you.
All right, let's take a look at this blood book real quick, and then let's go talk to Henry. See why I keep them in the dark? I don't want them to know anything. So this is the last page that he wrote. It does say beholder of brief mortality, but I'll zoom in on his tuberculosis cough, because that's exactly, it's exactly how he died. He was only 38 years old when he passed away. just so you guys have that thought, because I may ask that question. I've been trying to get more information about him and his wife. He was her school teacher. That's how we met her. She was only 16 years old. So another creeper back at the Pinckney Mansion site, right? So I may ask some of those questions as well. I'll also ask real-time questions. If the church bells go off, I ask every single time what we're hearing. Pay attention to those of you with communication devices, so that way the answer may come through. So Janice, you'll definitely be listening in. Our word list may get the answer. We've had the word bells being spelled out on the envoy before when I've asked that question. So kind of keep an eye if you have a communication device. You guys ready to do this?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. We're gonna go this way. See, that's the excitement I'm looking for, not the woo girl piece.
Good, thank you.
All right, take it off.
Okay.
I gotta give you some tips and tricks.
I'm sorry.
All right, so, oh, look at that. You guys are following direction really well.
I got it. I'm here.
So here's what's going to happen. Okay, so you are literally going to tell us everything that you hear out of that spirit box, including yes/no answers. I may ask our ghost if I'm wearing a black vest. I'm expecting a yes. So again, whatever you hear. In the events that we need to pull you out, and when we stop, because we're only going to keep you both under for 10 minutes. Rachel, you'll be able to hear me, but Jessica can't. So somebody will tap you on your leg. I will never touch you, just so you know. It's a group full of ladies. I don't need to be that creeper guy. Sorry. So if we're done, you get a tap on the leg. You take your own gear off. So that's kind of how that goes. In the event that something goes awry, where there's heavy breathing or something like that that's abnormal for you, I will have you tapped out again. So kind of, again, you'll take off your own gear. If somebody does start to take off your gear because something goes wrong, it's not me.
Okay.
If you're talking too loud.
That might be the thing.
I figured it might be. You will get a tap on the shoulder. Quiet down.
What's the signal for quiet down?
A tap on the shoulder.
Oh, on the, where are you going to tap me if it's something else? The leg?
Leg, done. Shoulder, soft.
Quiet. Okay.
If we can't hear you, which I don't think is going to be a problem, somebody may lift up your earmuff and just say louder. We keep it nice and simple. I don't think that's going to be an issue, so we can almost omit that completely. Once you get both earbuds in your ear, find the volume that you're comfortable with, and then don't touch the spirit box at all. I want to make sure you're not cheating and hearing the questions that I'm asking. The volume is up here. It's a wheel.
Oh, okay.
Got it. Wow, it looks like somebody cranked all the way up. Am I right? Am I blasting?
That I don't have it in my ears,
Okay,
so I have
so
no
yeah,
idea.
it is all the way on mute right now.
Okay.
All right, so everybody else knows what to do. So with yours, Rachel, you're going to keep things nice and simple. So you just, if you see like 15 people around a bench, just tell me 15 people around a bench. Keep it simple, because I'm going to focus on her. We're all going to see the images once you're done. Have you ever used one of these before? All right, so I'm going to set it up for you, because again, you're probably not used to it. You're going to see a rolling gray smoke, like cloud of smoke. You're going to tell us everything that's not smoke. So images will appear for you. It's not going to be 3D in your face. It'll be 2D floating in front of the smoke, just so you have the idea. You'll be able to look around it, but at the same time, it's not going to come in your face. It's nothing like jump scare kind of mentality. Blindfold, earmuff or earbuds next, and then earmuffs go afterwards.
That group left, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, okay.
All right, take your blindfold off. We're migrating.
Okay.
We're going to go to the other bench. Good job, Sarah.
Good job, Sarah.
Thanks.
Good job, Sarah.
Really feel validated.
Oh, that's a tree.
Jeez. I have to go left.
Yeah, glasses definitely won't work, so let's take that. Once I set this up, I'll slide it in. Obviously, this guy will slide over your head. Everything's been sanitized in case you were worried about that. Sanitize everything twice a day. Come on. I'm not taking pictures, I'm just starting again. So see how you see the gray smoke? It'll show up in both of your eyes, so you're going to tell us anything that floats in front of that.
Will it be in color or just be
Oh
shaped?
yeah, you make colors, shapes, all kinds of things. Your focus is right here. There's a little dial, so if you can't see things and it's too blurry, it obviously changes the focus. All right, let's get that blindfold on. And who's going to put the noise canceling headphones on? So basically, you're going to open these
Oh, I
up.
see, man, I'm training.
Oh, perfect. We're already on top of things for the church bell as well. And it is 11:01. We're going to start right now. So, Jessica, can you hear me yet? Can you hear me?
I can still hear you.
Okay. Turn your volume up on your speaker box. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Perfect. All right.
Freaky.
So we have already begun. So we are looking to speak with Henry Timrod. Can you please come forth and tell us something about your occupation? We're using both of the boxes that we normally use. You can show us images that are relative to what your occupation is, or you can tell us. Henry, are you here? Does she know she's supposed to be talking to me?
What am I
I
supposed
see nothing.
Okay, it takes time. So you might see one image, you might see 10. We never know.
What's up?
You're supposed to be saying what you're hearing in the spirit.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, tell us in real time.
Okay, sorry. My bad.
This is
I
not.
didn't
We're
know we
gonna.
started.
We're not gonna. Yeah, we're not gonna film you just sitting there.
I didn't know we started. Can you put it
Yeah,
back?
so whatever you hear.
Okay.
Whatever you
okay,
hear.
sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Then turn your volume
I'll turn it up.
That's the point. I don't want you to know what's going on. Can you hear me now?
Love.
Perfect. Henry, back to the same original question. Tell us
News.
something about your occupation, please. Henry, if you're here, tell us about your occupation. Let's keep it nice and simple to start. Rachel, don't fall asleep in there. I know, it's always hysterical, especially when they start giving us silly answers.
Says.
Henry, I need something about your occupation.
Roll.
Nope. Come on, Henry. Push through. Give us something about your occupation. I believe we got about 1 week until the anniversary of your death. We should start seeing and hearing from you a lot.
Virgin.
You are not a virgin. All these dirty terms coming out of you ladies tonight.
Or is he calling you?
I have children. I'm pretty sure I'm not a virgin.
Drama.
There's a lot of drama tonight. We can say that one for sure. Henry, we need something a little bit
Just
more.
the instrumental.
We heard some
I
sounds.
got you on the way.
We heard some sounds from the church earlier. Can you tell us what those sounds were?
More instrumental.
No, well,
Just
kind
like
of.
guitars.
Okay, we need to know something else, Henry. Henry, what did we hear from the church earlier?
I got you.
You said that already.
A journalist who had been
Journalist.
seen.
I'll take that. Henry, it's kind of like that. What's a big red barn? Blood, fire truck, heart. It's a very similar principle. So, Henry, let's talk about your wife, Katie, tonight.
You?
Are you okay with that? That's a yes/no question. Can we ask about your wife, Katie?
You could see the church was simply there. That's kind of weird.
Henry, can we ask about your wife? Can you tell us how you met your wife? You told us last night.
Right now.
Yeah, please.
Oh, there's a baby. With his hand up. Got
How,
blue eyes.
how old's this baby?
Huh.
Infant?
Under a year old.
Perfect. Can you tell if it's a boy or a
Right
girl?
there.
Maybe a boy has like kind of brown hair.
Instrumental.
Blue eyes.
Okay. Henry, are we seeing your son Willie right now inside the green box? That's a yes/no question? Like have the power kind of thing?
Yeah. Alright, image gone.
Okay. Henry, was that your son? Is that Willie?
Me.
tell us about your son. Can you tell us his birthday? When was Willie's birthday? Can you tell us that? It was a holiday. A holiday we
You've got to
a holiday we should not be hearing right
be
now
final.
during this time of year.
What would you dream?
I want you to tell me Willie's birthday, please. You even wrote a poem about it. What famous holiday is this?
One. If we changed.
Henry, I've asked you a handful of questions.
What would you do?
So I would answer the damn questions is what I would do. I've asked you a handful so far. I asked you about the sounds from the church, your occupation, which I'll take journalist. You did work for a newspaper.
Don't you cry?
I asked about your son's birthday. I asked if we can ask.
Your fault.
It is not my fault. We are trying to learn more about you. This is how I do it. Let's get some verification that you're still here. Can you tell us about your son, his birthday, maybe how old he was before he passed away so suddenly? It's been about 6 minutes, everybody, just so you
On
know.
myself.
Rachel, nothing?
But
Henry, let's get some verification.
tonight,
What kind of facial hair did you have?
I can't feel it.
What kind of facial hair did you have? He had a very distinctive mustache, almost like
The
the
boys.
caterpillar mustache, if you know what I'm talking about, like very thick and furry.
Yeah.
Let's just give us.
Whoa.
Do we have somebody else here with us? That's a yes/no question.
Don't stop me.
Who else is here? Because we're not getting much out of Henry.
The way. The sign.
If we have somebody else here, can you tell us your first name?
Back home.
Keep an eye on the word list for that name. We've got the word list at this point. Any name pop up later? Okay.
Stay.
Who else do we have here with us?
You knew.
Oh, we got a picture coming in. It's kind of like a recliner chair. It's a rocking chair, and there's a desk. There's a picture on the wall. It's very blurry. Something hanging on the wall. That looks weird. The chair's in front of a big window. And it's bright out.
Okay. How old? What time period would you say it's from?
Outside.
Maybe 30s?
1930s?
Yeah.
Okay.
30s. Maybe that's either a table or a piano to the right.
Okay.
No
Where's that?
ruling.
And it's gone.
Okay. Sometimes they don't stay long. You got a new one?
I got another picture. It's someone,
Baby.
like maybe a woman, but they're bald. Kind of, maybe not a woman, but they're kind of sitting down with their knees up
Tonight.
against a wall. And to the left, there's some bars there. It's all very sketchy.
Love.
It's the second time she said love, and the word baby just came through too. I don't know if you guys heard that or
Yeah.
not. So, who else do we have here? Henry, if you're here, give us your first name. Let's verify this. I'm looking for verification.
Cry.
We don't have much time left. We got about a minute, minute and a half.
The picture's gone.
Make them.
Do you want us to leave?
Cry.
Lots of cry.
Yeah.
Henry, do you want us to leave? That's a yes/no question.
Even when you don't.
That's a song lyric for sure. 80s ballad, if I ever heard one.
Yeah.
Sure. When you asked to verify that he was here, this has been 0. And as soon as you asked that question, it went to 5 and then went away. Just so you know.
It was about the same time she had a picture of a baby.
Her. Gorgeous.
Like right before.
Who was gorgeous, Henry?
Calling.
Give us who was gorgeous. We have plenty of boxes here you can use.
24. Another.
Christmas Eve.
Say?
All of a sudden, he's like spitting out all these answers. Henry, we got to wrap this up, man. What else you need to tell us? You know, I only keep these folks under for 10 minutes. Let's get another image. Can you give us something? Something relevant to writing? You gave us a desk earlier. We just can't pinpoint the time period.
You know. God of all.
I'll take a picture of the bells from the church. Something dealing with your occupation of writing, pen, ink, blood.
You know that.
Lots of you knows. Did you guys notice all of that stuff? Henry, we're going to say goodnight to you. Can you say goodnight back to us? Henry, going once. Going twice.
I'm getting a picture. Oh my god, that is creepy.
What do we got?
It is a close-up of someone's face, but they kind of look a little demented. They got bags under their eyes. It's red under there.
Any blood in that picture?
Well, the under eye kind of looks bloody, like they got black eyes, almost. Like they got punched in the eyes. And you just see the nose and the top of the lip a little bit.
Jam?
The ears. You
And
know
that
eye thing where they're kind of looking up and
out
see
of
the
town?
the whites of their eyes on the bottom. That's creepy.
Yeah.
Like,
Say so.
Forgot the term for it. But in this context.
Okay. All right, let's get Jessa tapped out. Rachel, go ahead and take that off your face.
Alright.
Let's take a look at these images. I'll take that from you.
That last one was creepy.
Yeah, let's take a look.
He's kind of glaring at me.
So neither one of you get up. Just stay put. So you're okay. I just want to make sure, like, this can be disorienting, especially on your end, so I want to make sure you're not going to be a baby giraffe and fall on the ground.
Okay.
So just kind of stay seated. We're going to take a look at these images real quick.
The studs out.
Yeah, take the earbuds out. Like, take a breather. Blindfold off. Did we miss the picture of the dog?
I never saw that.
So she's already seen these pictures. So if you guys want to kind of group around this way, so this doesn't really zoom in and it doesn't go landscape. So we have this like path with a dog on it. I don't know what it means here. So again, just picks up random photos. Whoever this guy is, she said somebody's sitting down.
Yeah, that's the
Their
first
knees
image
up.
I saw.
Okay.
That's praying at the L's.
So someone praying. Okay. Interesting. Baby with the hand up. We all know that Willie was only 9 months old. So, well, everybody but you two. So, again, very interesting picture. I've actually had a picture of a boy walking away wearing pajamas, holding a teddy bear with a sad face. So, come up during this session. So, again, this is pretty common to see a child at this age group come up here.
That's the rocking chair thing.
Now, this could definitely be something a little bit different than the time frame that she said. It could be kind of universal. So again, it could be definitely from the time period we're talking about of the 1860s, basically Civil War times, when he was, writing his most poetry. This, again, totally random sketch, it looks like. I don't know what that means, but it's very similar positioning to the person she saw earlier. So I don't know what all of that is. The other person kind of almost had like their knees up too, unless I was looking at it upside down and it's really their elbows.
So yeah, that is the person who had their knees up, and she was also talking about crying around that time. So
you mentioned the word cry a lot, and So I don't know if that was referring to me or for Jillian. I don't know if something actually popped up for that, so kind of let me know if anything comes out of this. Yep, here's the last creeper guy that just came through. So this guy's definitely gray. So again, don't know what's wrong with this fella, but it doesn't really look like, the tuberculosis kind of symptoms that you would normally see. So again, that's a little bit more deathly ill than tuberculosis. So I don't know who this is either. The only reference that I'm going to find so far is this baby and the word crying that showed up quite a bit. And we did get the number 24. So based out of what happened with you, I'm going to call that slightly successful. We got a lot of the answers to the questions I was asking towards the end, almost like in a rush.
Yeah, all of a sudden it was like I could hear it really clearly.
Well, all of the other things that you were saying were irrelevant. So I was kind of getting a little worried, but all of a sudden you started like 24. She's gorgeous. And then you had baby, cry. All of those things started to pop up about questions I was asking about his wife. I was asking about his son's birthday, which was on Christmas Eve. You said 24. So again, I was asking all of the things, and you may have missed things in real time, which is perfectly fine too. But again, I'm going to call this whole session slightly successful, which is probably one of the out of the past few weeks, one of the more successful ones I've seen. As of late, they've been pretty much duds, and they're hysterical because they tell me silly things that come out of it. The imagery, sometimes I'll try the imagery in different locations to see if we need to do this type of session, like at the Pinckney Mansion site. We've gotten interesting things out of that. I just haven't done the blindfold part of it at that location. So, any other words that came up on the word list?
There was rate, capable, meet, sick, joint, stigmata, chained, far, insert, reliability, hearing, content, track, where.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Whole lot of nothing. Anything? No HT at all for Henry Timrod? Okay. So go ahead and stop your film, Sarah. So at this point, I'm going to start collecting all of your